This Trump-Epstein email scandal has gotten crazier and crazier. I mean, the floodgates blew open last night. Because yesterday morning, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, they released 3 emails that they obtained from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. And those included bits where Epstein called Trump the dog that hasn't barked, said a victim since reported to be Virginia Giuffre spent hours at my house with him, and said about Trump, of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. But also in response, you had the committee's Republicans claiming, hey, those emails were selectively chosen, redacted, and taken out of context. And well, now they've dumped the entire 23,000 document trove from the estate, but rather than exonerating Trump, they just make him look much, much worse. Right, so let's go through these revelations one by one, though I will say first, Epstein, really awful at grammar. But it's like every casual boomer email I've ever seen. It typos galore, he doesn't capitalize the right letter, punctuation's all over the place. But as far as stuff that actually matters, probably the biggest bombshell to come out from this latest drop is an Epstein email written in February of 2019. Right, because apparently he's referring to the sexual abuse of underage girls, and he wrote, Trump knew of it and came to my house many times during that period. He never got a massage. Also in 2015, Epstein emailed a then New York Times reporter, would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? Though there, despite replying yes, the reporter says that he never actually got those photos. But he did get an anecdote with Epstein suggesting people should, quote, ask my houseman about Donald almost walking through the door, leaving his nose print on the glass as young women were swimming in the pool, and he was so focused he walked straight into the door. Many of the emails were also just packed full of vicious insults that Epstein had for Trump, with him, for example, telling the same reporter, he feels alone and is nuts. I told everyone from day one, evil beyond belief, mad, and most thought I was speaking metaphorically. It's obvious he could crack. Stormy Daniels, lies after lies after lies. Then in a 2018 exchange with the author Michael Wolff, Epstein referred to dopey Donald and demented Donald, saying that his finances were all a sham. And the year before, when someone called Trump so gross, Epstein replied, worse in real life and up close. And in a conversation with Larry Summers, Epstein once called Trump borderline insane. When Summers asked whether Trump would crack into insanity, Epstein said his strength is remarkable. He is pounded 24/7. I hope someone close to him gets indicted, but not sure. Otherwise, the pressure of the unknown will force him to do crazy things. And Epstein saying at another point, your world does not understand how dumb he really is. He will blame everyone around him for bad results. Also in late 2018, though it's unclear what the context is, someone emailed Epstein, it will all blow over. They're really just trying to take down Trump and doing whatever they can to do that. To which the famed billionaire pedophile replied, it's wild because I am the one able to take him down. And well, that is pretty much it for the insult. There's also a lot of really interesting stuff to grab onto here. Or with, for example, the modeling agency co-founder Faith Cates asking Epstein in 2017 where he was spending Thanksgiving, and then later asking who else is down there, to which Epstein replied, David Feisel, Hansen, Trump. And the year before, during an exchange with a members-only club founder, Jenny Enterprise, Epstein said that he spent Thanksgiving in Palm with the Trump crowd. Or with that one not necessarily meaning Donald Trump himself, though the first email certainly seems like it. And that would be really standout because that appears to contradict Trump's claim that he broke off contact with Epstein after 2004. Though also, as you may have guessed from some of the other emails, they don't appear to have, been friendly, even if that was true. And in fact, the emails show that Epstein was frequently working with his associates to dig up dirt on Trump, though the reasons weren't clear. Or with him in 2012 suggesting that his lawyer investigate Trump's finances, including the mortgage on Mar-a-Lago and a $30 million loan that Epstein said Trump had received. Also in 2019, one of Epstein's advisors apparently went through Trump's federal financial disclosure form, which he called 100 pages of nonsense, and emailed Epstein 9 interesting findings. And those including information about the president's foundation, businesses, and assets. Also, another email that's gotten some attention is one between Epstein and a top European official that was written in June of 2018, notably 1 month before Trump met Vladimir Putin in Helsinki. And Epstein suggested that the official tell Putin that Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov could get insight on Trump by talking to him, and adding that Vitaly Churkin, Russia's then ambassador to the United Nations, used to, but he died. With Epstein then elaborating on the insight he could provide, saying, it is not complex. He must be seen to get something. It's that simple. Also in another exchange with former White House counsel Catherine Rumler in 2018, they discussed Michael Cohen, who admitted to conspiring with Trump to pay Stormy Daniels hush money. Or with Epstein saying, you see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers New York biz people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. And y'all, I mean, there is so much more. We've got emails between Epstein and former Prince Andrew, Woody Allen's wife, Steve Bannon, Peter Thiel, tons of people. There's really just so much more we could go through. But of course, the main spotlight right now is on the revelations about Epstein and Trump, though there are varying responses here. Right, of course, you have Democrats saying a lot of this is concerning, appears to shed a light on a lot, really playing them up. But they're also accusing the GOP of dumping so many documents at once to distract from the few specific things that look really bad. Or the idea being that instead of letting the Democrats drip feed these emails to the press, Republicans can kind of just rip off the Band-Aid. But also the Republicans, they counter that all the other documents are the real point and the focus on Trump is the real distraction. You even had Trump himself posting on Truth Social, the Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that trap. The Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion worth their recent antics of viciously closing our country, while at the same time putting many at risk, and they should pay a fair price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening up our country and fixing the massive damage caused by the Democrats. But then with that, you have people asking, well, okay, if this is just a nonsense distraction, then it doesn't explain why he's apparently been scrambling to prevent any more of the Epstein files from getting out. Right? I mean, his top White House officials had meetings with Representatives Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace yesterday, reportedly trying to persuade them to take their names off the discharge petition. But the petition, it passed yesterday, setting in motion the process that'll end with a floor vote in the House on whether to make Trump release the Epstein files. So with all this, I do want to note that both Boebert and Mace defended Trump when asked about the meetings.
The president has not forced me to do anything. The president has not put pressure on me. I was not asked by the president to remove my name. Every conversation that I had was welcomed and very civil. And, it's okay for people to have discussions about things that are going on with our nation.
I am deeply frustrated with the press. All this focus on Trump, who's been exonerated by the Epstein victims. And we're not focused on the Epstein victims or their stories. It is disingenuous. And I don't like playing politics with rape. I don't like playing politics with child rape. I don't like playing politics with sex trafficking, but that's what Democrats are doing.
Now, as far as Mike Johnson, he says he's going to put the resolution to release the Epstein files up for a vote on the House floor next week. And that, notably after Republican Representative Tim Burchett actually tried to fast track the vote using a procedure called unanimous consent. Something that many have called a sneaky move because it would have not required lawmakers to actually go on the record in a roll call vote. But that, it failed, and so now Republicans are headed straight for this iceberg of voting yes or no on releasing the Epstein files, or getting where they stand documented in public. But with all this, you did have Thomas Massie telling Politico, I'm certain the House vote will succeed. Some Republican members who are not signers on the petition have told me they will vote for the measure when the vote is called. And adding, I suspect there will be many more. And with that, you have sources telling Politico that senior Republicans privately believe that dozens of Republicans will vote for it, possibly 100 or more. In fact, we're already seeing a handful of Republican lawmakers who didn't sign the petition saying that they will vote for the actual measure. But for now, we're gonna have to wait to see what happens with that vote. Also, wait to see what else pops from these emails. And in the meantime, I would really love to know your thoughts, opinions, and reactions to everything here, especially regarding all the Epstein emails.